This is sexy right here, right now, just like the BBC spin-off Class.
Okay, sure.
I mean, hello everyone, Nerdball Podcast, episode 255.
5.
We are edging closer and closer towards death, just like the universe. I don't know.
Just like.
Do you think we've got more pessimistic or optimistic as this podcast gone on?
I think you've turned the biggest pessimist of. I know. Every intro is welcome to death, episode 255.
Yeah, but time is fleeting, and we're talking about stuff that doesn't really matter. But it's because
it does to us, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it does to us, damn it.
I am George. That is Connor.
Yeah, hi.
I'm George, the pessimist, and that's Connor, the optimist.
In most occasions, yeah.
And together,
outside of working hours, yes.
And together we are the equilibrium for. Oh no.
Power Rangers Equilibrium.
That is definitely. That's a Nickelodeon one. Definitely.
Power Rangers Equilibrium.
So, in the last of the We're on Holiday miniseries.
Yes. George and Connor are abroad miniseries, not coming to a streaming service
An
near
Idiot
you.
Abroad Series 4.
Right. Just not on Disney Plus.
But then Luther Series 4 was 2 episodes. That's what we are.
Right.
We're that one.
Luther 4.5.
You know who was in it? It was Rose Leslie. Oh, Rose Leslie was his assistant. Oh, hello, Rose Leslie. I'm Luther's handyman and helper.
Blimey.
If we ever meet Kit Harington and Rose Leslie,
Yes.
I really hope that they've never...
they come across us before.
Yeah. Can you imagine? 255 episodes worth of shit.
Leslie.
Good times and crazier.
She won't even need to look at you. She'll just know you as the Rose Leslie guy.
Oh, you do that impression of me, Rose Leslie. And then Kit Harington will be like, I've got no idea what she's on about.
I've got no idea, no.
Yeah, when you defeated Thanos.
Full collection, IKEA. Although that word is quote.
Oh, shut up.
Well, alright. No, I'm not alright.
Oh,
Copyright's a thing.
Simple Simon. Bloody hell. So, in lieu of the Spider-Man mania that we are currently missing, because this was, 2 weeks out of whack, but...
Oh, God damn it.
Because, as we said, we're on holiday, so we've actually been good boys and pre-planned.
Pre-planned, yeah.
So... Why haven't we covered anything big? Because we haven't been in. We don't know what happened.
Oh, look, countryside. Oh, look, landmarks. That's what's happened to us.
Yes. Oh, look, the outdoors.
Yeah. Oh, look, no Wi-Fi.
You've probably watched a copy of Die Noobs.
Die Noobs, a.k.a. Aliens in the Attic from 2009. Why? Because it's in Across the Spider-Verse, but I will spoil that next week. / yesterday, or tomorrow for me, whenever we record it. No. Yeah, aliens.
Next week for you.
Yeah, aliens across the attic. Aliens across the attic.
3 weeks for us.
Aliens in the attic.
Aliens across the attic.
Aliens across the attic verse.
Aliens
across the attic.
But yes, Spider-Mania has swept already and passed us by, but at this point, it's happening.
And it will happen until the game comes out in September-ish, I think, or October.
Merry September-ish, everyone.
Merry September-ish, yeah.
So
it's time to get your PS4 copy out.
Spider-Verse today, in terms of now in the real world.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks ago, in terms of when you guys are hearing it.
Yeah.
But any final predictions for Across the Spider-Verse?
Groundbreaking, right? It's going to end on a cliffhanger.
I've heard that. So someone on Twitter. Because there's the press embargo and stuff like that, but there's some people that will put out their
initial
thoughts,
reactions.
And I saw someone I can kind of imagine what people were feeling when they first saw Snow White in 1947. As in terms of this is a
from an animation
standpoint, this is completely unique, near enough pitch perfect and kind of revelation for the genre. And that's a lot to live up to, but he's debuting at
kind of how I felt. That's kind of how we felt about the first one, Into the Spider-Verse. For me,
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Because obviously it was one of our favourite films of 2018. It was my favourite film of the year that year. Yeah, I love it. I love it every time I watch it. I think it's so well made, and so much thought and love and detail is in every single frame. You can feel the movie's tangible. It may be animated and But
Oh no,
feels
it's cartoon. I don't
like
like
it
cartoons.
feels so real. Oh, hello, Rose Leslie. When did you get it?
Sorry, this is Bob. This is her brother.
Oh, Bob Leslie. Hello, Bob Leslie.
Bobby Leslie.
Bobby Leslie.
Bobby Leslie.
Oh, hello, brother Bob.
Well, hello, brother Bob.
But yes. So I look forward to seeing this one because it's I don't. There's so many sequels that don't
live up at all, or even hit the same feels.
But some sequels, in the odd case, are better than the original. And if we get this, I'm not gonna I'd hate to put a marker on it, but like a near perfect animated Spider-Man trilogy would be. It would not forgive the sins of Sony's past, but it would make you go
and
like
they're still committing right now.
Yeah, it would make you think. You know what? There are some people that actually know
what they're doing with it. Yeah. And if this only is just an animated trilogy and they don't go beyond the realms of let's tie everything together to make it all somehow cohesive, not like a Marvel MCU situation, but like if they can somehow go across the storyboards of animation and go and venture briefly into other angles and other tangible things in terms of Spider-Man. I don't care about the Spider-Man villains. Let them muck around with Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Jared Leto, and whatever fucking villains they want to do in the live-action world. But Mr. Holland is just kind of sitting whilst he's waiting for his Spider-Man 4. As of recording today, it's on hold. Spider-Man 4 is on hold.
It's on hold today.
I mean, I didn't read the article, but I'm assuming it's because of the writers' jack. That's my assumption.
I've not read it because I saw people talk about that. It's definitely in development. It's like, yeah, but it's been definitely in development since No Way Home.
Since No Way Home, yeah.
Because we knew that because there was because it's weird. See, because that's weird because like No Way Home and a crossover were the new agreement.
We knew
that as long as they make money, they're going to keep fucking
pumping it out.
Because it makes more sense to work together to make all the money than to work apart and make slightly, less of the money. Like a Batman film will always make money.
Yes.
Batman with the Justice League, if done well, would make more
if done
money
well.
on the technicality.
Yeah, of course.
Just like Spider-Man has done better financially, and people hailed say what you will about Tom Holland and the MCU Spider-Man, like people have hailed him more as a Spider-Man Peter Parker because he is more of a growth market to a general audience because he's out there more because there's it's more of the thing of this Spider-Man's with the Avengers.
Yeah, he's with
the Avengers. That's
he's
great.
Look at that. Some kind of boy band.
They're in a band. You're in a band. Sony also released their official artwork for the 4 main cinematic Spider-Men, which are Tom Holland, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and what's his name? Shameik Moore as Miles Morales. So we will see how this plays across before we venture beyond next year, isn't it?
Beyond is next year.
So they've done.
At time recording, it's a year apart. It's not a 2-year 2025 bullshit plan that like every other.
But if it was, I wouldn't mind because it's been 5 years.
I wouldn't mind.
It's been 5 years since the original, so I'm like.
Depending on how it is tonight, I'd still love to kind of be like, oh my god, I want it now, and the fact that it's possibility of being in my eyeballs is a year from now as opposed to 2. It's a win-win for us.
It's a win-win for.
It's a win-win
for media.
for media.
But we anticipate the greatness.
And if Vin Diesel cameos as Spider-Man in it and he announces that they're going to do a trilogy of stories to make it a 3-part.
This finale is actually
a trilogy, yeah.
Have you seen, alright, so there's this account on TikTok, not us by the way, follow us, that is, that seems to be, like it's a film like account thing.
Alright.
But in the wake of Fast and Furious X is just sharing old interview clips of the Fast and Furious cast.
Okay.
I don't think in a serious way. I think in the taking the piss kind of way of the fact of you've had the how many Marvel movies can you make, and like the one that I saw today was ludicrous saying I put my cast up against any other cast in movie history and I don't think they compare, and it's like
oh god. Okay. God damn.
And it's like, and everyone's like the only one talking sense is Jordana Brewster.
Right.
He's kind of like I kind of would like it to get back to like the origins where it was just like street racing and more like real and gritty, and it's like would be nice, the series that was founded on that,
on
to
cars.
get back to that instead of it's basically become a Mission Impossible pseudo thing that everything's got to be topped in every movie, with
and
the
over
stunts.
the top. Yeah.
I think the only people I like as people from the cast are probably Jordana Brewster, and in terms of the ones that have been in it a while, I'd say Natalie Emmanuel, just because like she was great
The
on Game of
individuals.
Thrones, and you could tell she's like grateful to be in the position of she's gone from one big franchise to another. And she's in a more fortunate position than a lot of young actors that she's in a multi-billion-dollar
franchise.
So she's making buck, but she's not out there going like we're the best cast in movie history or
in
like,
the world, across this dimension.
and like there was another Michelle Rodriguez one where she's like, we're kind of standing alone on top of this mountain. Like, we've got 10 films. There's no one else really here. Like, Harry Potter can do this stuff. And someone was like, yeah, but the difference is, and they said at the time we wanted more Harry Potter and didn't get it, and it ended on a high. No one has ever wanted this many
Fast and Furious movies. Yes,
and arguably the spin-off that doesn't focus on those characters,
is
one
of the best
ones.
installments. Yeah. And it's my personal, it's the one that got me into that franchise. But no, I totally agree. Hobbs and Shaw, totally unrelated to the canon of the main story. It's one of the better ones.
I think just as society looking back, because I'm kind of intrigued. I've always been like, do I need to own these? And then I'm like, no. Like I don't, because I like the genre switch in 5.
Mm-hmm.
I think 5 and 6 are the
peak.
The peak of the mountain. 7 Under the Circumstances, is made really well. I enjoy 8. I watched 9.
really like 8.
I rewatched 9 the other day because I came up from work and I was just really ill and I was upstairs and I was like, F9's been added to Netflix. So I watched it and I was like, this is even worse than I remember it.
Good God, yeah, okay.
Because they do that whole thing of like how we survived every time, and then like we're gonna drive into this satellite, but then they still survive. I think had they had that conversation and then they died in space, would have been a lot more fucking poignant.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. I don't fucking know.
Oh dear. Fast 10 ain't gonna do anything to rock your boat.
I just think it's done the wrong kind of studio thing. Like how you have studio stuff. Like it's given Vin Diesel powers that he hasn't needed. It's sort of given them all a sense of entitlement.
I suppose, egos and everything,
like a little bit less ludicrous, but like he has, with that comment, it's kind of like, no, you've not got the greatest. You haven't even got the greatest movie cast in the last 10 years.
Oh God,
like it's ridiculous. Oh,
your mindset, man.
Honestly, and Tyrese, I'm really not a fan of because I think he's just like I think like the way like he talks about like obviously like social and thingy problems is like, no, that's good, you should be talking about that, but not using it to say that your film is progressive and things like that, because it's really not.
No, God, no, it doesn't change.
Like they're saying it like they're making stuff that's making a
groundbreaking cinema
socially and economically. It's like,
no,
you're really not spreading positive. Like it's not like you're spreading like negative vitriol.
Stuff. No.
It's not like you're out here pushing like we need to change as a society.
Political agendas. No.
Like if the Fast and Furious movies were, under the guise of actually being about like global warming's fucking the planet, and like maybe there's more of a
say in it,
an acceptable social thing there. But
you're
just talking about fucking blowing shit up all the time.
Vroom vroom, yeah.
Like even
and
like
family.
Like the fact that Tyrese has a fake out death twice in Fast and Furious 9. It's like, and all the stuff like when he was doing the Morbius interviews and stuff. It's just like,
no.
God, why are you like making yourself seem like a dickhead? But anyway, enough about that, because I just wanted to touch on that TikTok account. But the main thing we're talking about in terms of the spider fever is something we sort of touched on a couple of episodes ago, which was like yesterday for us, but was video game movie tie-ins, which is an art that has seemingly fallen by the wayside.
It's been killed off slowly.
It's kind of done, but obviously we've got Insomniac's Marvel Spider-Man 2 at the end of the year, which it feels akin to those kind of movie tie-in games because the Insomniac Spider-Man in some capacity will be in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yes, to some degree,
and cameoed briefly in
the first one,
Into the Spider-Verse, and it feels sort of almost like a last hurrah of those kind of, because obviously Spider-Man is in popular culture so much,
Yeah.
and you have the
Shock
movie
horror.
suits and stuff like that as things like that, and like akin to some of the older Spider-Man movie tie-in games. So we thought we'd go through some of them. Obviously, we'll speak about more in detail about the ones we have played, and sort of delve into some of these ones because there's some fucking doozies in here, mate.
Some doozies. Ooh.
There's some very good doozies. But first, we're gonna just cut this bit out. 'Cause
First,
we're gonna just take a picture.
let me take a selfie.
And we both did the same pose.
Yeah, one planned.
Remember that time that we had like there was so many episodes where the title was some way related to No Way Home, because we didn't really know how to differentiate ourselves
to market.
Okay, so I've got list of games based on films.
Oh, most detailed list of games based on films.
We'll do it in year order, yeah.
Okay, fine. So from 1901. No. How far back does it go?
1979. There's probably more because obviously this is a Wikipedia article, so there's probably some missed out.
Wikipedia, totally legit.
If you want to let us know in the comments your favourite video game movie, please. And if we've missed any, tell us in the past.
Tell us in the past. Yeah.
There's one on here that's cancelled, but I know what year it is, so when we get to that one, I'll go back up to that because I like it. So the oldest one on here is 1979's Star Trek Phaser Strike.
I've never heard of this one. The Phaser Strike.
It was on Microvision, released in November 1979. The genre is a single-player shoot-'em-up.
Ooh.
3 phaser banks are placed at the bottom of the screen, enabling the player to shoot in 3 separate directions. Spaceships are represented by a collection of blocks.
Oh, anything but the blocks.
So, a bit like Metroid, kind of. Maybe, I don't know. The player is also able to choose the number of ships that will appear in multiples of 10 up to 90. The game ends after all the ships have been launched. The score is then generated as the player is given the option to start a new game. Yeah. Like
groundbreaking.
Space Invaders, but
in the Star Trek universe. Ooh la la.
It doesn't say... Oh, so it is released for the Microvision at the same time as Star Trek the Motion Picture.
Oh, so it was a tie-in to the original Star Trek movie then.
That's how it's a tie-in. So it's a game that happened to come out the same time.
Yeah, coincidentally coincide with the movie. Yeah.
I don't even know if there's an emulator for that because
I've never heard of the Microvision. Never heard of it.
God, we can't kill the other one. We've already killed Barry.
Barry Allen.
But no.
Some more than others.
Gotta run fast, Barry. Because
he will during the 16th.
Because you know, no other person could portray Barry Allen like Ezra Miller has. And Grant Gustin says hello. So 19...
you go, flag that sky high. That was his final words.
Yeah, so I'll say it says at the end, based off of Star Trek the Motion Picture. So, Poltergeist, the Videogame.
Oh, see, I love the movie, but I didn't know it had a game.
1982, developed by... The developer was
THQ.
Tandy? Published by Tandy, SLM Entertainment, and MGM, based off of the film Poltergeist. There's no hyperlink, so I don't know how to fucking...
There's no page for it.
Tell you any more about it.
Oh, well, it happened.
You just...
Moving on.
You just vomit on... That's The Exorcist, isn't it? Vomit on people and spin your head around. That's The Exorcist.
That is The Exorcist, yes. Poltergeist is just, TV, ooh. And then there's a weird, exorcism thing at the end, and the house goes crazy, and then there's weird faces that pop out the wardrobe and stuff. That's the Poltergeist.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, very lovely.
Not as lovely as, Get away from her, you bitch.
Ridley Scott's Alien.
Yes, the Ridley Scott 1982 maze video game for the Atari 2600, published by 20th Century Fox. It is a maze game based on the 1979 film Alien.
A maze game set aboard the Nostromo, I imagine?
I don't know. I'm getting to that, dear boy.
I'm just saying.
It was written by Doug Neubauer, who is credited as within the packaging as Dallas North.
Okay.
Neubauer is best known for 1979's Star Raiders. Alien for Atari is the first officially licensed game of the Alien film series, published in 1982.
So 4 years after the first one?
So it looks slightly like Pac-Man.
Okay. I don't know whether to be terrified or to be excited. Oh la la, that looks very inspired by Pac-Man. I suppose that's meant to be the Nostromo, but it's a top-down perspective. But he just looks
Even
like Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. The player controls a member of the human crew persuaded. I persuade you, oh dear boy.
This is the maze you're looking for.
You're an attractive man for your age. I am an attractive man for my age. You have a lot to offer a woman. I have a lot to offer a woman. Say what you will about Robot Chicken. The Star Wars stuff has aged poorly.
Oh dear.
Remember the human crew pursued by 3 aliens in the hallways of a ship. The goal is to destroy alien eggs laid in the hallways, like the dots in Pac-Man parentheses. The player is armed with a flamethrower, which can temporarily immobilize the aliens. Additionally, pulsars, like the power pills in Pac-Man, occasionally appear and will turn the tables, allowing the human to overpower the aliens.
Cool.
And so that's level 1, the one I showed you.
Yes.
And this is level 2.
Oh, good God, that's terrifying. It's all in the dark. No, there's no maze.
And then that's it.
Oh, wow.
I would love to play that.
That needs to be released on the
That needs to
Nintendo
be
Switch right
emulated,
now.
yes.
They need to be re-released
If
right
anyone's
now.
got an emulator for the Alien video game, please.
On the
published by
Atari
Fox.
2600 was that? It
Yes.
was on, yeah.
Published by Fox Video Games.
I reckon there probably is an emulator you can probably find online on the interwebs somewhere.
But you know there isn't an emulator for
Well,
the game that single-handedly almost killed video games.
oh.
Or video game movie adaptation, should I say. Because I don't know if you ever heard about the conspiracy that it was, found to be bad and then all thrown in a landfill.
Are you talking about the
discovered.
based on the Katy Perry song E.T., the extraterrestrial?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you're talking about that one. Okay.
The legacy, the Atari video game, because because it was so poor and because it was rushed out it was released on the it was made and developed by Atari, released for the 2600 in November 1982, obviously based on E.T. the extraterrestrial movie of the same name. The game's objective is to guide the eponymous character through various scenes and collect 3 pieces of an implementary telephone that will allow him to contact his home planet.
Ooh.
Where is it? So basically, it was rushed out. It was given just over 5 weeks to develop the game in time to meet the production schedule for 1982 Christmas season. The final release received negative reviews. The game is often cited as one of the worst of all time, one of the biggest commercial failures in video game history. It is cited as a major contributing factor to the video game crash of 1983 and has frequently been referenced and mocked in popular culture as a cautionary tale about the dangers of a rushed video game development and studio interference.
Oh.
In what was once deemed an urban legend, reports from 1983 started as a result of overproduction and returns of unsold cartridges were secretly buried in a landfill in Alamogordo, New Mexico, and covered with a layer of concrete. In 2014, diggers hired to investigate the claim confirmed that the landfill contained several ET cartridges, among other games. James Heller, the former Atari manager who was in charge of the burial, was at the excavation, admitted to the Association Press that 728,000 cartridges of various video games, not just ET, were buried.
Wow.
Marty Goldberg, co-author of the book Atari Inc. Business is Fun, added that the dump was in fact clearing out of the Texas Atari manufacturing plant's unused cartridge stock for a number of titles, as well as console and computer parts. According to the 2014 documentary Atari Game Over, only 10% of the approximately 1,300 recovered cartridges were ET.
Bloody hell.
The urban legend itself that it's kind of, will we ever be able to play it?
It's like a Doctor Who missing episode at this point.
In 2014, the Smithsonian Institution added an excavated cartridge of ET to their collection. In 2015, the Henry Ford Museum added several excavated cartridges and a video game touchpad and a sample of landfill dirt taken from the site of the burial.
Sample of
Items
dirt.
of clothing worn by the excavation team.
Okay.
Section to their display. The Centre of Computing History in Cambridge, England, also received some artefacts from the desert, which are permanently on display in the museum gallery.
Wow, I need to go to Cambridge from the sounds of it. I need to examine the ancient history that is E.T. the video game.
Yeah, because I remember hearing. I don't know if you've heard about that and through osmosis.
I knew kind of roughly the burial thing. Yeah, I knew there was like
a 5-week turnaround.
That is ridiculous.
Like to be like, I want this out at Christmas, and you're deciding to make it in November.
In November. Oh, that's fucked. But the movie was 82 as well, but that must have been in the summer, I imagine. It must have been a summer blockbuster.
What I think happened was the movie come out and they were like, all right, we need to get a game out to sort of be on the hype with it and be out in time for Christmas. Because, back in those days you couldn't plan that, this film's going to be quite big and do well in a generalised way so we can make a video game for it. So it was kind of like, that's done well, quickly make this.
Go.
And very quickly in that case, because that is, synonymous with legend that game is, that's just, it's mad that much happened.
Bloody E.T.
But, there's no Mario.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah, it would be here all day with Mario. Every installment.
The Atari Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh.
Of the same name.
Why are these games not re-released on like modern platforms?
That's basically it.
Okay.
As he searches for the Ark so basically you're playing through the semi-story of the main game.
Of the movie, yeah.
Of the movie, sorry. The game requires a player to use 2 different controllers.
Okay.
Controller 2 moves Jones and its button uses uses an item. Controller 1 selects the item. That's
a bit back to front.
Because
I suppose those controllers didn't have D-pads and inventory slots. It literally was just
the game sold less than 1 million copies, but judging by the standards of 1982, so I don't know.
And your point, yeah.
Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back on the Atari. There are Star Wars games coming up of the original trilogy that are meant to be very, very, very good. Again.
I recognise that one. Yeah.
You're Luke Skywalker in a snowspeeder in battle against the AT-AT planet of Hoth.
I think you fly for ages.
It's basically
and
a
then
shooter.
it is a shooter. Yeah, you literally, it's that background for ages, and then you meet the AT-AT.
And it's sad, really, that
and I think that's the whole game.
Some of these great films, like the early games, are just so. Obviously, I'm limited by the technology of my time. Texas Chainsaw Massacre had a game in 1982. These are all 1982. So
that's like years after the film.
It's another Atari.
Oh, Atari was the system to have. For
original release, March 14th, 1983. Let's have a look at gameplay. The player takes on the role of the movie's chainsaw-wielding villain, Leatherface.
No way.
Taserface!
Taserface, yeah. Taserface.
It's metaphorical! And attempts to murder trespassers while avoiding obstacles such as fences, wheelchairs, and cow skulls.
Oh my god, fences!
The player controls the murderer with the objective to chase and kill victims. Each victim slain gains the player 1,000 points.
Oh, XP.
The player receives additional fuel every 5,000 points, 5 victims.
Ooh.
A life is lost when the player's chainsaw runs out of gasoline.
Ah.
Gameplay ends when the last tank of gas
is consumed. That's inspired every fuel simulator game possible.
That is
because of Texas Chainsaw
Farming Simulator.
That is Farming Simulator. All because of fuel for a chainsaw.
Tron, the video game.
Yes.
Distributed in 1982.
82 had everything.
Released on the arcade and got a re-release on the 360.
Yeah, that's how I know that one. Yeah, it did.
A 2004 Game Boy Advance
Tron
2.0, Xbox Live Arcade in 2008.
Yeah, I think I might have bought that one.
Arcade 1-Up released a recreated cabinet of the original Tron arcade version.
Oh,
in 2021.
Must be pricey, but
Tron consists of 4 sub-games based on the events and characters in the movie. In general, the player controls Tron either in human or pilot in a vehicle, using 8-way joystick for the movement, trigger, and fire. Because Tron's pretty self-explanatory as a game.
It's a game inside a game.
It's a game inside a game, and Jeff Bridges.
The MGP built this program in a computer with a bunch of scraps, with a bunch of gigabytes.
Here's one that's not got much on it. The Dark Crystal.
Oh, as in like the Labyrinth David Bowie sequel, The Dark Crystal.
Based off of the 1982 fantasy film The Dark Crystal. Have you watched the Netflix show?
No, I've not seen Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, or any of it.
Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance.
Any of the Dark Crystal universe. None of it.
Versions were published on the Apple II and Atari 8-bit family. An alternative version for the game intended for younger players was called The Gelfing Adventure.
Okay.
Released in 1984.
I suppose Galving is one of the characters, isn't it? Have you ever seen it? Or
a long time ago.
A long time ago. Yeah.
It took Roberta Williams a little over a month to develop and design the design for the game, which was then
Only a
turned
month?
over to the programmers and artists.
Only a month to do that.
It's
Blimey.
way better than the movie, said Softline in 1983.
Well, I'll be the judge.
It doesn't tell you any about
If
the
someone,
gameplay.
if someone
or
can
the
send me,
synopsis.
if someone can send me the game, I can find the movie myself, and then we can compare live on the channel.
We can do.
Yeah, we can do
live
that.
on Twitch.
Yeah, we can do
Halloween video game in 1983.
So why is it? I'm amazed some of these games came out years before. Like, because a lot of those horror ones are like 4 years after the
It's
movie
for
release.
your favourite thing, the Atari.
It's nothing but the Atari.
Was adapted. None of the main characters in the game were named. Players take on the role of a teenage babysitter who tries to save as many children from an unnamed knife-wielding killer as possible.
So not even Michael Myers was named. No one knew who he was.
Not on screen.
No one knew who he
I
was.
don't think they had dialogue yet, mate.
Yeah.
And another effort to save money. Most versions of the game did not even have a label on the cartridge. It was simply a piece of tape with Halloween written on it in marker. The game
suppose it's more
contained
authentic.
More gore than the film, however. When the babysitter is killed, her head disappears and is replaced by a blood pulsating from the neck. As she runs around exaggeratedly, the game's primary similarity to the film is the theme music that plays when the killer appears on screen. I bet that just shits some kids up.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, the game's quiet. Imagine you hear just footsteps and you hear do 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 do. You're like, ooh.
It'd be loud in the mix as well, wouldn't
it?
The player obtains points in two ways: by rescuing children and taking them to safe rooms located at both ends of each floor of the house, and by stabbing the killer with the knife if it can be located. The player advances a level either by rescuing 5 children or stabbing the killer twice. The killer gets faster with each level increase, and the game continues until all of the player's 3 lives are lost.
But Michael Myers goes down with 2 hits. That's a lie. Every movie has a lie.
This is where it starts.
This is where what starts?
The debate of, video games too violent.
Oh, with Halloween, I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, it sounds terrifying to hear no music and then do every time he's on screen.
Like Wizard Video's other commercial release, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we previously talked about. Halloween was a controversial title at the time due to its violent content and subject matter. Many game retailers refused to carry the game, and the ones who did often kept it behind the counter on a request-only basis.
Okay.
Halloween, along with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, drove Wizard Video Games to bankruptcy.
Wizard
Video Games were liquidating its merchandise. Some copies of the game were shipped and sold without a label. It was simply a white sticker, Halloween handwritten on it to cut costs. This led to even more stores rejecting the game due to its appearance. Halloween had a slightly better reception than Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even though the limited number of copies sold has made both games highly valued items among Atari collectors. So there you go. If you've got any of them,
I suggest you either hold on to them or give them to us.
Give them to us, or sell them.
Sell them to us.
Did you know what you shouldn't sell? James Bond 007.
Based on which movie?
1983 was...
Never Say Never Again.
That was Never Say Never. So Octopussy.
Oh yeah, or Octopussy, yeah.
Yes. Would you like to have sex with a slightly pudgy Roger Moore? It's a horizontally scrolling shooter published in 1983 by Parker Brothers for the Atari 2600, the Atari 5200, and Atari 8-bit family, Commodore 64, and ColecoVision.
The Commodore 64, finally another console.
What the? The player controls James Bond across 4 levels. The player is given a multi-purpose vehicle that acts as an automobile, a plane, and a submarine.
All at
The
once.
vehicle can fire shots. Now pay attention, 007. I paid to see that fucking Robert Llewellyn scene.
Pop up.
Not Robert Llewellyn. No, Robert Llewellyn's... what's his name?
No.
Is Robert I feel like Robert Llewellyn is from Red Dwarf.
I feel like you might be right.
Desmond Llewellyn.
Fuck I was gonna say,
So Robert Llewellyn's fucking Crichton from Red Dwarf.
Oh, I can't even spell Llewellyn. Oh yeah, Llewellyn. Robert Llewellyn. Yeah, Red Dwarf. Yeah.
There you go. See, genius. I've confused myself. I'd love to see Robert Llewellyn do that. Robert Llewellyn as Q. Vehicle fires shots and flare bombs and travels from left to right as the player progresses through each level. The player can shoot or avoid enemies and obstacles that appear throughout the game. Includes boats, frogmen, helicopters, missiles, and mini submarines.
Frogmen.
The game's 4 levels are loosely based off of missions from James Bond films. Are you ready?
Which ones? Yeah. In random order, I suppose.
Well, they're in
What, film
ascending order. So
Okay.
the Diamonds Are Forever. The player
great.
rescues Tiffany Chase from an oil rig.
Brilliant.
The Spy Who Loved Me. The player destroys an underwater laboratory.
Oh.
Moonraker. The player destroys satellites.
Oh, see, that one sounds good.
And For Your Eyes Only. The player retrieves radio equipment from a sunken boat.
That one sounds too similar to the underwater one. But no, I mean, he's on the moon destroying satellites. That one sounds really appealing.
Sounds very good. Very, very good. Kroll, the video game.
Crow, oh.
No idea what it is. You have to fight off slayers. I've never seen Kroll the movie, so I wouldn't know.
I know
sorry.
the power of Kroll, Doctor Who Kroll, but
Porky video game.
Porkies. Oh. That had a game.
That's very Donkey Kong Jr., really, isn't
it? Yeah.
Return of the Jedi Death Star battle.
Oh.
On the Atari 26 and 5200 8-bit and the ZX Spectrum. It's the arcade game and the first video game based off Return of the Jedi. In the game, the player controls the Millennium Falcon with the aim of destroying the second Death Star. The game is split into two stages. In the first, the player must shoot the enemy TIE fighters while waiting for the opportunity to pass through the energy shield. In the second stage, the player must shoot at parts of the Death Star until a clear path to the reactor. Once the reactor has been destroyed, the player must survive the resultant explosions. Once these objectives are complete, the game begins again with a new round with greater difficulty.
Oh, great. So it's an infinite time loop. It's an infinite loop.
So 83 and the Atari and 85 on the Spectrum. Rocky Super Action Boxing. Based off of Rocky 3.
Super Action Boxing. Wow.
It's even got Mr. T on the cover.
On the cover, wow.
It's on the
true time
capsule. On the Coleco.
Okay.
Each boxing match consists of, according to the skill level chosen, 2, 5, 10 or 15 fucking hell rounds, each lasting 1 minute each.
Oh wow.
During gameplay, the player's movement is restricted to 3 positions or lanes vertically.
Okay.
Each player's side of the ring to the front of their opponents horizontally.
Brilliant.
Beat people up. I mean, that sounds
Super
like
action fighting game.
I never thought, like, I know there's the EA Sports, like, have done the boxing stuff.
Yeah.
But I've never thought of, like,
Fight
boxing
night
should be a good game. Like, because even with the UFC stuff, because I'm like, at least that's a little more, like, you know, you can mix it up. But even still, it's like, what, really?
Punching. Yeah, it's just a lot of punching.
Star Wars.
Just Star Wars?
Yes. The first-person rail shooter on the Atari. It's an arcade game. Yeah, based on one of them shooters.
Oh, one of them shooters, but not
looks a bit like Geometry Wars.
It really does, yeah.
I mean, Red 5 in the X-wing, and it's in different phases. Alien, 1984 video game.
Well, I'm guessing still based on the first. Oh, well, it's
Still
the
based
first
on the
poster.
first.
Yeah,
It's on the Commodore 64 ZX Spectrum and the Amstrad CPC. It's a menu-driven game. The player is put in charge of the crew members of the Nostromo. The game starts with one of the crew members being killed by the alien. Mirrors the death of Kane when he gives birth to the alien in the movie. The player moves the characters around so you got to move them around the map to keep them.
You got to move them
Got
around.
to direct them away from the alien and keep them.
Okay.
But for 3 different systems.
Why is it so different?
Yeah.
On each console, the Commodore looks terrifying. It's just green. The Nostromo is just lit up green.
And bigger than that. So the most detailed one's the Commodore, and the Spectrum's just like
tiny, basic. Yeah, but Commodore green.
That sounds like a headache. That sounds like Five Nights at Freddy's before Five Nights at Freddy's. Cloak and Dagger.
Oh, as in Marvel Cloak and Dagger.
I'm not sure. Time to the 1984 film Cloak and Dagger.
What? Who are Cloak and who are Dagger?
I don't know. Henry Thomas, Dabney Coleman, and Michelle Murphy are starring.
American spy adventure film based on a short
know.
story. Yeah, it doesn't say Marvel Comics, huh?
Wow. All it says is Cloak and Dagger is a multi-directional shooter.
Well, that's meant to be a gun reticle, I'm assuming, right? Or is that an infinite maze, an infinite staircase?
It's an arcade game.
It looks, yeah.
The Evil Dead.
Ooh, groovy. Groovy installment number
Not
1.
played it.
You said something about the BBC. Oh, that just looks like a weird Mario-y knockoff
Set in the
thing.
cabin. Player controls
I suppose
Ash.
that's the basement.
You must close cabin windows to prevent monsters from entering, while also
Ooh.
killing the monsters that are already inside the cabin. Nice.
Okay. Yeah, no, simple.
Firefox. That's an arcade one. There's no point
okay.
talking about that. We're talking about the video games, goddammit. Ghostbusters.
So many consoles.
Wow. So it's like puzzles and stuff like that. Oh, I hate that when it's just like puzzly things. It's like solve this puzzle when you're doing the thing. It's like, well, I actually want to play it now. There are so many from 1984. It's unreal. Gremlins on the Atari. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're gonna just skip through some of these. Kung Fu Master is based off of Wheels on Meals.
Never heard of that. Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi. That's another arcade one. It's lumping all the actual arcade. Paul McCartney's Give My Regards to Broad Street.
What? Whatever is that?
The game takes place after the action of the film and is discovered that after one track of the album is missing. From the recovered tapes, the missing... Oh my god, you've got to piece together the missing song.
Missing archival bit of music in history. Oh, okay.
War Games. It's got Patrick Troughton in it.
No, it's the I can't think of the actor, but it's a good movie.
I don't know. Back to the Future. Got to get back in time on the Commodore 64. Side view arcade. The aim of the game is to get George McFly to spend as much time as possible with Lorraine Baines. The more time George and Lorraine spend together, the more they will fall in love and lust. More segments will be added to the family photograph in the bottom right corner. The photograph at the bottom right and left of the screen gradually disappear. The player does nothing, thus setting a time limit on the game. The player can find various objects to help him, such as love poems, a cup of coffee, alien suit, and a guitar. What? He also has a skateboard to move around quickly.
Fair enough.
Friday the 13th. Goonies. Wow. That's going to be like a... Yeah. Whoa. That just looks like Stranger Things Donkey Kong, really.
Stranger Things, yep.
We had a Temple of Doom one. That's we're getting slightly more...
Oh, progressive!
That's
a temple.
We're going through the mines in Temple of Doom.
That is a temple.
You have to rescue the captured children. Rambo for the Amstrad.
He's going to shoot some bitches up in a desert.
That's the Commodore 64 screenshot.
Why does the Commodore game look terrifying?
The game is based off of the Capcom arcade game Commando. The gameplay is based off the Capcom gameplay from Commando. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back video game. That's the fucking console one. Separate these. A View to a Kill, the video game. A View to a Kill, the computer game. Starring Roger Moore. View to a Kill, the computer game. First section set in Paris. So it's basically like bits of the movie. There's music. Like the James Bond theme.
Shock horror music.
The second is the Duran Duran theme for the film.
Okay.
Then there's a text adventure game version called James Bond 007, A View to a Kill. Aliens, the computer game by Activision.
Oh, finally, sequel time. 6 mini-games strung together via graphical interactive sequences, akin to an interactive game, as in like point-and-click interactive? Oh no, adventure game. I thought I read interactive.
It's interactive adventure. Every adventure's interactive, if you believe it. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Whoa.
I'm just going to skip past that. There's a Big Trouble in Little China one.
Oh. What's that on? Commodores, CPC, and ZX Spectrum. Beat them up. Oh.
Beat them up, you get a gun. The third character, Egg Shen, initially fires weak magic bolts. Lovely. The Black Cauldron got one.
God.
It was starting to get onto... here we go.
Good God.
That's the
Jesus.
Type to text adventure stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay, text box thing. Yeah.
The Goonies got 2 different ones by Konami, the Famicom game and the MSX. Highlander. There can only be one.
There, but there's probably more than one.
I don't.
It's a dueling game.
And
it's time to
duel. Is that meant to be Sean Connery, the most Scottish Spanish man ever?
The Spaniard. Yeah.
Howard the Duck.
Oh, good God.
The adventure on Volcano Island.
Ooh.
The game involves players controlling Howard the Duck to save his best friends Phil and Beverly. After being parachuted on Volcano Island, Howard needs to find a backpack to proceed with the search. The game consists of 4 levels, in the last of which Howard, armed with a neutron gun, will finally face Overlord.
Overlord? As in the protagonist of the movie. I didn't finish the movie. Didn't finish
There's
it.
a 1986 version of Goldfinger. Labyrinth, the computer game. Oh, Lucasfilm games.
It might be like Monkey Island.
Oh, look, that's a proper video game fucking cover.
That is a good cover. Yeah, it's a good cover. The game's entirely different from another game based on the same movie entitled Labyrinth.
You remind me of the game. What game? The game with the power. What power? The power of hoodoo. You do. Remind me of the game of Labyrinth. Some of these I'm like, I wish I was around for. But also I'm like, fuck playing them. Rambo First Blood Part 2, Master System video game.
Master System video game.
Shoot 'em up. Overhead action shoot 'em up. So is it top down? Fuck that. Loosely based off of the film of the same name. Top Gun.
Take my breath away, or is it just going to be? Is it going to be Empire Strikes Back?
Combat flight simulation game. All right, well,
Okay.
so we're getting there. We're nearly at the 90s. So we got Aliens, Alien 2.
Alien 2. Okay,
That's
an arcade thing.
console one.
Cobra,
There was a
Jaws.
Jaws one.
Ooh, quite after the film. So
So
I think they purposely tried to save some of these games because they knew technology was slowly ticking by.
Living Daylights in 1987.
Same time as the movie.
Oh, it's released as a re-released as a light gun shooter on various cassette tapes on the ZX Spectrum 007 Action Pack. The plot was greatly rewritten and explained on narration audio cassettes by Desmond Llewellyn as Q.
Ooh.
Platoon, fucking hell, that must have been a cheery old game. Side-scrolling jungle shoot 'em, the Rambo Short Circuit.
Good God.
Fucking hell. In which a weaponized robot number 5 is struck by lightning and gains human emotion. The president of a manufacturing company consists of 2 gameplay modes, both in which the player takes control of number 5 in the first portion. Number 5 must wander through numerous rooms. Second portion is side-scrolling, evade security guards. A stealth section. Star Wars again. Fucking hell. Alien, the computer game software studios. Gotcha. The Sport Cobra. The Karate Kid.
Karate Kid.
Masters of the Universe.
Ooh.
On the Amstrad. These ones are not saying anything really about them. These ones. Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom. Live and Let Die. RoboCop. This has got a big section. This must be good.
This must be expansive. Yeah.
Wow.
Good God. There's actually graphics.
The gameplay is similar to Data East arcade game Bad Dude vs Dragon Ninja.
What? That sounds like a cool movie I need to watch.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh, what was that? What was that game then? A point and click side-scrolling thing, platformer.
Controls Roger Rabbit through 4 levels, each with his own specific task to complete. The player, first level, we must drive Benny the cab to reach the ink and paint club ahead of the Tomb Patrol, jumping and swerving to avoid cars, puddles, and a dip in the road. One of those ones. Willow 007 License to Kill. All Dogs Go to Heaven. Back to the Future 1989 video game. Bloody hell! I'm also gonna leave. I'm gonna leave the Telltale stuff out until we get near that. There was a Batman game for the '89.
Oh.
On the NES and the Game Boy.
Is it a nut eating simulator? You want to get nuts? Let's eat some nuts.
Platformer in a purple costume.
Oh.
Batman being attacked by heat wave in the first stage.
Batman possessing the symbiote.
You get a grapple hook. You can swing and you can beat up criminals. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Nice. You make music
on the Commodore 64, the DOS, and the Amiga.
You make music.
Player controls both Bill and Ted as they travel through different time periods, collect artifacts, talk to locals, and help find historical figures for their oral report in present day San Dimas. As the film, if the player does not finish the game in a set amount of time, the player fails the history report, thus losing the game. That's quite good.
You're on a timer.
You got Blazing Lasers, you got a Friday the 13th one, you got 2 more Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade games.
Top Gun: The Second Mission.
Is this the first thing of like a loose sequel?
Ooh. A more detailed plane.
It looks like the side-scrolling text-to-adventure thing. Batman 1990. There's an arcade one. Batman Back to the Future Part 2. Snazzy cover. Must travel to 2015 to prevent the couple's future. Third level is a side-scrolling beat 'em up. What? That's not what the film is.
Genre-bending game.
You got fucking Doc Brown with a fucking knuckle duster.
Knuckle duster, yeah.
You got Dick Tracy, you got Dirty Harry, Ghostbusters 2, Gremlins 2: The New Batch. Surely it's 1990. Controls Gizmo through various levels in the building, armed with weapons, raging with genetically modified super tomato in the laboratory and the new matchstick. Fuck off. Fuck off. Mad Max. Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Let's just skip past that. Nightmare on Elm Street.
From the
For the NES.
Takes on the role of ordinary teenager. Additional objective is to scour.
It's a horizontal side-scrolling beat 'em up. Of course. Predator 2. Oh, that would actually be quite good now. I'd like a good Predator game. Yes, it's like a shooter on rails kind of thing. Spy Who Loved Me. Tasmania, The Terminator, Total Recall, Back to the Future Part 3, Beetlejuice. I'm just going to go for the obscure ones until we get to the good shit. He's got a Lego Dimensions fun pack.
Yeah, did you not know that? Yeah, Beetlejuice is in the game. I think I might have that one.
It just doesn't say anything about the gameplay. Lovely. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Dark Matt. Liam Neeson was in the game. Die Hard,
Fantasia, Home Alone.
What was that like?
I don't know. It's fucking plot and gameplay. There are multiple versions of the game, and each features a different style of gameplay, but all share the same plot, roughly the same objective of the film. Kevin McAllister is left at home when his family goes on Christmas vacation to Paris. He must prevent Harry and Marv, the Wet Bandits, from burgling his home with various household objects, traps, and/or weapons. Bloody hell. Indiana Jones' Last Crusade. Star Wars 1991. Gameplay. NES screenshot. In the cave.
Of Hoff.
But he's not in Hoff. The Addams Family. Batman Returns, the video game. On the Mega Drive. Wow. I don't know what I'm trying to fucking. This is just fucking dog shit. I'm trying to find a good one. Where's the good ones gone? Where have all the good ones?
Once you get to GoldenEye the game, I think 97. I think that's when you're going to get
Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, what is that then?
On the NES.
It goes a different
style
genre game.
Most of the games in the single player game is
Keanu Reeves, basically, yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Disney's Aladdin.
That's the one that got re-released with the Lion King SNES game, I think.
Side-scrolling platform. Well, yeah, I think I had that one because there was a load of the like yellow covered things. I think there was a cancelled sequel.
Oh, boo!
I think it's one of them ones that it would have the loop of music of the da 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 da.
It's just on the loop. Jesus.
Jurassic Park computer game.
Hmm.
Or the NES one. Let's go for the SNES. Yeah, so you've got to just avoid all the dinosaurs.
Nice.
Cool.
Avoid the dinosaurs.
Last Action Hero, The Terminator, Wayne's World. What could this bullshit be about? Keeps true to the plot of the original film. Premise involves Wayne and Garth trying to stop a producer from buying the music. It doesn't say how. There's a time limit to each stage. Connor, no. Disney's animated
story pack. Storybook.
I feel like I've. Yeah, so it's got like Lion King, Winnie the Pooh,
Pocahontas,
Toy Story,
101 Dalmatians,
Hercules,
Little Mermaid. Oh, quite relevant. Well, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. It's been out for 3 weeks.
Another Aladdin game.
Bloody hell! Remake upon remake.
There's so many Aladdin games. The Aladdin games. I forgot what fucking year I'm in.
I thought you were like mid-90s.
I thought I was mid-90s.
You're way past the 80s.
Beverly Hills Cop, Spy Who Loved Me, Little Mermaid, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So you're getting like loads of the Disney ones. Terminator 2, The Rocketeer, fucking hell, The Lawnmower Man, Lethal Weapon, Super. Here we go. So Super Star Wars this was apparently some hard shit.
Some hard
It
shit.
was some hard shit. So,
Okay.
roughly follows the plot of the Star Wars film. They did it for each one of the trilogy, and by all accounts, they were fucking difficult to do. Instead of simply buying C-3PO and R2-D2 from the Jawas, Luke Skywalker must find a way to get on top of the Jawa sandcrawler while leaping from a series of moving conveyor belts. Yeah, platformer and stuff. It's meant to be fucking
like frustrating.
I've heard people talk about this, and it's
the inspiration to every rage game on the planet.
So for all of the super ones, like your super, Super Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and for Return of the Jedi, all apparently
ridiculous.
Equally frustrating. Maybe one day we could stream them.
Who knows?
Beauty and the Beast, Prince Studio, Indiana Jones' Greatest Adventures. It's got LucasArts on it.
Ooh,
So here we go on Super Nintendo.
Ooh. La.
So that's it's got a scene from Temple of Doom, but it also looks like Street Fighter. So,
it's a side fighter thing, 2D fighter. The Lion King,
Jurassic Park Interactive, Starship Generations, Beyond the Nexus, Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. That's cool because they all come roughly 10 years
after the date. Yeah.
After the thingy. That's quite cool. Batman Forever. It's a beat 'em up, a video game based off of the movie of the same name. The Genesis, the PC, and the SNES, Game Boy, and Game Gear, and the R-Zone. There are two kinds of co-op modes in Batman Forever. Players choose Batman or Robin in one mode, and Batman and Robin work together and cannot harm each other, although they share credits. Okay. When are we going to get past beat-em-ups? And Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, the video game.
Oh, what's that then?
On the SNES. Side-scrolling beat-em-up. Fucking, can we get past some beat-em-ups? Toy Story, the video game.
Oh, but as soon as we get to Toy Story 2, then we're in the good stuff.
Players control Woody through several stages that encompass the entire plot of the film. Several obstacles lie between the player and the goal for each level. A lot of these are platformers or side-scrolling beat-em-ups.
Nothing wrong with that, but
it's just after a while it's a bit boring. Batman Forever. The streets of Gotham are paved with gold is the tagline for this one.
Don't look very golden. It just looks
very
very
purple. Like a
purple.
Storm Drain cover.
That's what I mean.
It's basically
yeah, I've recognised that
Mortal
one,
Kombat, but Batman with characters from the films. It's before Capcom did it. Pocahontas, Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail, Pinocchio, Space Jam, Blade Runner, Chaos Island, The Lost World, Chaos City, GoldenEye. Bug's Life, Fifth Element, Mission Impossible. Expect the impossible is the tagline. Like it. Oh, here we go. We're getting into GoldenEye levels of shit. Get a dart gun. Your single-player action adventures, loosely based on the 1996 film.
Third person sitting through 20 levels.
Jesus, we've gone from 4 stages to 20. You could easily fail the level by accidentally shooting an NPC. Wow.
Oh, well, great.
Back in the days.
Wow.
There's easy or... So it's got 2 modes, possible or impossible.
Oh, I like that. I see what you did there.
Aesthetically, that's quite good. Rugrats, Game Boy Color. I had Rugrats on... That's the Rugrats movie. I had a Rugrats game on PS1. Is that the same one? Was it on the PS1? No, it just says the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color. Based off of the movie of the same name. Tommy's brother Dill was vanished, so the Rugrats set out to find him. 8 levels from the Pickles house, the hospital, the woods, and ancient ruins. 2 levels in which the player drives the reptile wagon in a top-down perspective. Most of the game features standard side-scrolling platform gameplay. Game also utilises a password feature. Cheat codes, you bastards! Small Soldier, that would be a sick one, and it's on the PlayStation. Single player and multiplayer.
Oh, blimey.
Fantastic.
Breaking the boundaries.
Ants. Game Boy Color. I've seen it. I've not played that. Tarzan.
Oh, PlayStation.
I've seen some of these. Are you unlocking memories?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. No,
Fabulous.
absolutely. You're making me feel ancient.
An hour to get to this. Phantom Menace, the video game. No? It's
Well,
LucasArts. It's on the PlayStation and Windows.
Yeah, but
Look!
no. Oh, look.
Look at the battle
Graphics.
droids. Roger. It's a largely
Roger.
top-down view of the game, the plot of the film. You know, you can play as Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon Jinn, Queen Amidala or Captain Panaka,
Oh, brilliant. At least he was
depending on the
mentioned back
level.
then.
If the player is playing as either the two Jedi, they can use a lightsaber or execute a force push. In addition, using blasters.
See, why wasn't it Upcry? You can't play as Jar Jar Binks. I find that a bit disgusting.
Misa play as Jar Jar Binks. Well, you
Misa overpowered.
Tomorrow Never Dies, the video game. Pierce Brosnan, the only man. Because hang on, where's
GoldenEye. Well, yeah, you went 97. Yeah, you went past GoldenEye. I saw
Did
it.
I?
Yeah, you didn't.
GoldenEye? So GoldenEye's probably the most famous one. So do
And
you want
most
to talk about that?
influential. I
Have
mean,
you played GoldenEye?
I played a little bit of it, but I haven't played
Tell
that
us
much
about
of it.
GoldenEye, because it's the only one to be remastered. GoldenEye 007 Reloaded in 2012,
2010.
2011 or something like that. 'cause
It was
on the
originally
PlayStation
it was a Wii thing first.
It was a wee thing. It was only
on
little.
2009, 2010 for the Wii and Nintendo DS. Nintendo had everything back then, so it was fitting that Nintendo did the original remaster for the Wii, but then they were like, oh no, motion controllers, oh, you're too tall for the camera, fuck that shit. Well, have it in HD and on consoles as GoldenEye 007 Reloaded. Same exact thing, just in high definition, running on a different game engine though. You had an achievement system, obviously, for Xbox and PlayStation users. You had a new MI6 Ops Missions mode, and you had PlayStation Move compatibility for the PS3, so that was probably the version to have it, if you had to get the game. But it also, on PlayStation 3, Activision also released a GoldenEye 007 Reloaded 00 edition. It featured the game, the PlayStation Move motion and navigation controllers, PlayStation Eye camera, sharpshooter peripheral, and access to the downloadable character Hugo Drax.
Lovely, because GoldenEye changed the game, literally. Haha, for not just video game movie tie-ins, but like as in video games in general, because it's so fondly remembered. I mean, like when you go back to it, because you can get it now like on Switch, like backwards compatible wise,
and on
like,
Xbox Game Pass at
yeah.
the minute, yeah.
Like you can get the original version, not like the glossy reloaded one. Like you can, and it's very ahead of its time in terms of like the world. Like the text, like I know the textures aren't, great by today's standards.
Yeah,
but like in terms of how it looks and how it plays, like it really changed that because it wasn't set on rails. It was, you know, more open world. Like there was, as much as there was levels to it, you still could explore.
There was
different
quite
ways
explorations,
around those
quite big, quite expansive, and again, like a lot of shit that you could have missed if you just followed the linear path. But it's really, GoldenEye is super famous because of its multiplayer, especially if you had friends back then, you had multiple controllers, that's literally all you would do in 1997, probably through to the late 90s. It revolutionised the concept of multiplayer gaming and, really took it by storm. If only the port that came on the Xbox had online play. I don't think it has online play, it's only split screens to this very day.
Jesus.
Which is really, it's such a missed opportunity.
It's weird because it started off the trend of also like then living off of the GoldenEye
like shooter experience, yeah.
Because then it was like you got you had your Night Fires, you had Agent Under Fire, you had things like that. It was obviously like having to keep coming back to GoldenEye because it was the number one James
revolutionary game,
number one James Bond game at the time. It's much beloved by fans. It's it was a bit before our time, and we would have appreciated it a bit more had we been born a bit earlier.
Yeah.
But no, it is still like from what I have played of it, it's still like as a technical achievement, like it's still like very good. Like I enjoy it. It's it's maybe is it a bit overhyped
potentially,
but
slightly.
It did so much positive for
as
like it did positive and negative, but like it did more positive for the gaming industry than I think
as a whole
than the negative impact. So because it's better than a lot of James Bond games.
Let's be honest, yeah.
Let's be honest. Because we'll get back to some of them. But Pierce Brosnan, one of the only James Bonds to have. Well, he's the only James Bond to have all of his, at least a level from all of his films. In video game form. Because with 007 Legends was Die Another Day. Because we had World Is Not Enough and Tomorrow Never Dies.
But you never got a Die Another Day game? No.
Atlantis: The Lost Empire, The Search for the Journal. First-person shooter. Of course, that's what you would have in a
Atlantis.
Disney game.
First-person shooter. Treasure Planet, I think, was an action-adventure thing. I remember that game.
All right, so for me, this is a big one for me. The Harry Potter games.
Oh la la, yeah.
Should we talk about
which
them?
versions are you talking about?
So I played Philosopher's Stone on the PC.
Okay.
Oh, and Chamber of Secrets. So first two on the PC. Third one was PlayStation 2.
Yep.
The fourth one, I think I had a couple of different versions of. But the main one I played was on the DS. Was the DS out at the time? The DS or the Game Boy? It was one of those.
I think Goblet of Fire and Order of the Phoenix were.
Order of the Phoenix I had on PSP.
Okay, blimey, you've gone through the motions, yeah.
Half-Blood Prince was...
Xbox? Or PS3?
I think it was PS2, maybe PS3, because it was in
that realm of both systems.
Yeah. Deathly Hallows I played on PS3. So, yeah. So, my favourite ones, I really love the PC ones because it was the point where you'd had to, click and drag the mouse to do the spells.
To do the spells. And even when you had to do a new spell, you had to press the buttons on the keyboard to learn the spell.
For you, big congratulations.
50 house points to Gryffindor.
Yeah, and it was the music. And it was actually quite tense because it was like one of the first games I remember vividly playing from start to finish. More so the second one because the second one I finished.
Yes, I don't know. I only had Chamber of Secrets on PC. I never played any of the Philosopher's Stone, but I remember vividly playing Chamber of Secrets, getting up to a certain point, and then the soundtrack always got to me. It scared me. It scared me. The soundtrack did scare me.
And
in Prisoner of
brief
Azkaban, I loved
cutscenes as well.
Cutscenes, yeah.
You had Flipendo.
Flipendo! The amount of royalties that
Richter Sempra.
Yeah, legit, those two spells on repeat. Yeah.
When you'd have to flip them crab things, go up the weird spiral tunnel things
to get the challenge stars,
because
the
Chamber of Secrets one I finished.
Okay.
Philosopher's Stone I think I finished, but I think I finished it later on because I think retroactively I went back and sort of even in 2002, because I'd play it, but because my dad would then play the bits that I couldn't do because it would be some of the platforming and obviously defeating Voldemort at the end. I eventually got back to do because I remember getting into the last bit, which was the platforming bit, and then getting with the stairs, get into the thing, and then you'd get in, and then it just it was that I couldn't go back and I couldn't go forward because the forward bit was the last level and I couldn't get past it. So I was stuck there for ages. But Chamber of Secrets, I remember, and how scary was the forest with the spiders and shit like that. It was actually wow, this is actually
revolutionary.
Terrifying for a game. But so for you, did that sort of happen more with Prisoner of Azkaban onwards?
I mean, after Goblet of Fire, I kind of gave up, and then only in recent years, since I've had an Xbox, I played the latter games.
I feel like
sort of recently.
If I still had all the copies, I would go back and play them.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't. So, but I'd love to.
Yeah.
I'd love to try and dig out my Harry Potter stuff. Because I don't want to. If she gets any royalties from it, I don't want to give JK any more money.
No.
But
no.
I would kind of like to see how that develops because the Game Boy or the DS, the original DS version that I had, I think of Goblet of Fire, because that was obviously graphics wise. Ain't much because it's tiny, teeny tiny. Yeah. But I remember doing you being chased by the dragon in the first task, and he's basically there and rolling up and down. You've literally just got to fucking stay alive and get to the end with the egg, the Death Eaters. Obviously, if you want a more direct way of playing the Harry Potter games, you've got the Lego adaptations.
You do,
because Lego is kind of this whole subgenre, so we'll kind of
various movie properties.
Some done better than others, I think.
Yeah,
obviously.
agreed.
The OG stuff would be Star Wars.
Because
it became a genre in itself, didn't it? Really, because they kind of they had their other bits, you had their their chess stuff, their races and building things, and then
Lego Creator, I think Chamber of Secrets is one. Like they had a
Yeah.
PC thing.
and then Star Wars was their first main IP that they were like, let's do this, and it was, they did the original trilogy, then they did the prequel trilogy, then obviously the main one for our generation when we was able to play all of them was the complete
The
at
complete
that point
saga.
the complete
yeah,
saga.
The complete saga.
Which I had very fond memories of, and was the first Lego game I played. I had it on Nintendo Wii, so obviously using the Wii remote, I could actually
swing your
wield
lightsaber.
my lightsaber.
Wield your lightsaber.
The Harry Potter ones are a more concise way of playing those if you don't have any previous versions of it, because they're 6 levels each film.
They tell you the story in and out. You explore Hogwarts, which is well done, I think.
Yeah,
Hogwarts
and
is
obviously
great.
the collectible stuff that was more apparent in later games than other things, because it's not really. There's in the original ones. There's the cards, isn't there? In the PC ones, you got the
the magic wizard cards. Yeah.
Oh God, maybe we should crack it out and fucking play it. Let's do
I
it.
would love to. Yeah, there's got to be a site to stream it legally, of course.
But then, to talk more openly about Lego in terms of like the films, so like the more direct film adaptations, the Jurassic World, because you had at that point the 4 movies.
The 4 movies, yeah.
Because it was the original trilogy and the new one. We, still haven't had one for Fallen Kingdom or Dominion, but I don't think we're clamouring for that.
Good riddance.
Because stuff like that. Like the ones that had the
Pirates of the Caribbean was one as well.
I really enjoyed that. People don't really like that one, but I really enjoyed it.
I still need to go back to it.
I think with the Lego games where there's such the collectability of it, and they have to have a wide array of characters, the stuff with the your Pirates of the Caribbeans, your Jurassic World, there are less characters. Especially Jurassic World, you don't have that many characters to collect, so you're kind of scraping the barrel of man in t-shirt, security guard, and with the nature that comes with being Lego games that are repetitive.
Yeah, they can, but if you play a lot at once, they can really be off-putting. But even if you do it in smaller chunks,
you play the story once, and that's the original enjoyment. And then once that's done, you're kind of just
having to rinse and repeat. Yeah.
But I like Harry Potter. Obviously, I like the Star Wars ones. I need to play the Skywalker Saga and see how that
updates things.
Yeah, plays it in a new way. What are the ones they've done?
Film what? I'm trying to stick to films, but then I mean technically Dimensions, because half the properties in it are films.
Yeah, you've got Lego Avengers is the first 2.
Lego Avengers is MCU.
One that I've always wanted to get a hold of and haven't, because you can't anymore digitally. But I need to try and track down a physical
Hobbit
copy.
and Lord of the Rings
is the Lego Lord of the Rings, because I've got the Hobbit. Hobbit is one of them boring ones that I've never finished, because it's got the first 2, but there was DLC
for the third one planned. They never did. Yeah.
But Lord of the Rings I want to try because it's
based on the films. And it was a really good one. I thoroughly enjoyed Lord of the Rings in recent years.
Because Pirates of the Caribbean is the last one with mumbling.
Yeah, with mumbling.
And then the basically
2012
the pulled film audio into the Lego Lord of the Rings one was the start of that kind of stuff. I was like, oh, maybe we'll have some voices. Obviously, various Batman ones pull character versions from films and some brief storylines and some DLC from the film, like the MCU DLC for a lot of the Lego Marvel superheroes and superheroes 2 stuff. What else, dear boy? But no, I think Harry Potter is the consistent one that I played.
Fond memory, yeah.
Planet of the Apes 2001.
What on earth?
Jesus. PlayStation, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and Windows. Action adventure from the third person. The player controls Ulysses, the astronaut who crashes on a crash land on the planet inhabited by intelligent apes. He utilises unarmed hand-to-hand combat, clubs, knives, and firearms items as weapons. Puzzle solving as well, stealth and covert action. Loads of Top Gun ones. Toy Story Racer.
Oh no,
that was
never
a Game
played
Boy
Racer.
one.
Yeah, never played Racer.
2002, I think. Blade 2.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, by Activision no less.
Oh.
On the
Same
PlayStation
time as
2 and the
making
Xbox.
Spider-Man games.
Yeah, very akin to that kind of thing. 360 combat.
Yeah, like beat 'em up thing. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the Spider-Man games, because they're kind of
they're infamous and notorious.
We're in that world now. We're kind of, because
the odd Disney stuff,
Ice Age, like those kind of ones.
Ice Age,
a lot of the animated stuff, like films ones, I didn't.
Exactly. I really didn't know,
because I wasn't sort of the I wasn't sort of the thing of I want to play like the Ice Age game.
I remember an obscure one, Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch and
Narnia
Wardrobe.
game's really good. Do you know what? Prince Caspian is a much better game than it is a film. Do you know what also is a better game than a film? The Golden Compass.
And so is X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine is fucking fantastic.
But Golden Compass I like as well. Yeah, Golden Compass was good.
I remember playing.
I was only playing like maybe a year ago.
Prince Caspian.
I haven't played it since
around a
PS2.
friend's house, like 2010, something like that, and it was like, oh, this is sick because it's like, it's an early PS3
next gen thing. Yeah.
Caspian was 2008. It was like a year later this game came out. I don't know if they did one for the Witch in the Wardrobe or Voyage of the Dawn trailer.
They did a game for the Winter Witch and the Wardrobe.
The Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, they did one for that game. But it's not as action as like Caspian. I remember it being more of an action adventure.
Caspian felt like this is like a Lord of the Rings game, but for
thing.
kids.
Yeah, right. Lion, Witch and the Wardrobe is more set levels. Go here, go there. You play as the four characters, four protagonists. Each of them have different abilities you can use to navigate through the levels. So like Peter could Lucy can go through small spaces. Susan had the harp which could get the animals to fucking basically traverse you across. You had Edmund who could do stuff uniquely, and then Peter could, he had super strength so he could lift things and punch things ridiculously hard and get across stuff. But no, it was just more of a get to point A, point B, but you had to use each of your four characters to get to the end of each level.
Yep.
But you had a lot of action, fighting stuff in the midst of it.
I like those ones. What else? What was we just saying?
Golden
Compass was a similar ilk to Prince Caspian.
But I like that because even for a kid, like when it came out, I would have been really young when I played it. I had it on PS2 originally, and then I only recently got it. Maybe during COVID for 360 because I want the achievements, but the mind scope of how to actually understand the compass. How the hell do you understand all the symbols? Even as an adult, you're like, Jesus Christ, I need a guide. Like, how does this all work?
Yeah, and obviously the second best adaptation of those books behind the series.
Oh yes,
but so the Spider-Man games were the big ones probably for us
growing up. Yeah,
alongside Harry Potter. It was kind of those two were kind of like the big like movie games.
Movie tie-ins.
Spider-Man the PS2 game, 2002, based off of Sam Raimi's film with the same name. Obviously, everyone will say the best. Everyone always compares any Spider-Man game that comes out. Oh, it's the best since Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
the Spider-Man 2 as a game isn't like the pinnacle that the film is.
No, it isn't. No.
It's because the film's so good that because I think that one's very good because if you complete it, you can unlock the Goblin section of the game with same levels, all new dialogue, different character abilities because you're Harry on the glider. Discovering like what's happened to Norman. Yeah. Obviously, Bruce Campbell was the narrator.
Yeah, iconic thing. Yeah, even the voice, who I didn't obviously knew, wasn't aware of who he was, but even the voice, his quotes and quips stayed with me. And if I was to make a game, I'd have, not ideally him, but I'd have that kind of narrator telling you how to do the thing, as opposed to text. Press the X button, press the B button to do things. You'd rather have a guy tell you in a cheeky, tongue-in-cheek way.
All right,
of
let me
doing
teach you how to do this. And he's eating a sandwich in one of them as well. Too much mustard.
All those quips. Yeah.
I really like that, and the swinging obviously with those adapts. I'd say while we're on the Spider-Man ones, I haven't played Spider-Man 3 in ages.
Wow.
But story-wise, it was kind of...
It was one of those games where if you had it on PS2, it was one version. You had it on the next-gen 360 PS3, it was another version. Yeah. It was a completely different game.
Because they'd all roughly be the events of the film, but they'd like, add extra stuff. Like Shocker was always an obscure secondary antagonist in all of the games, and that trend has kind of continued, and he's in...
Even in Ultimate Spider-Man and like spin-off
Spider-Man
Spider-Man
new one,
games.
Isn't he? Like,
he is in the new one, yeah.
So that'll be... very good to see, because I remember the level that I struggled on the most was in the subway tunnels.
Yeah,
when he's like shooting down
with the trains. Yeah, that section haunted me.
And you'd have to keep like having to try and get down there quick enough to get to a safe spot so that you didn't get hit by the sound waves or killed by the train.
Yeah,
Eventually get in your suit. And the stuff with the Goblin like that was just like, hard combat, but still like
even the Oscorp stealth section I thought was really mind-boggling and challenging as a kid. It was like, what the hell? Where am I even going as a kid? It's terrifying.
The Spider-Man 2 game is fantastic.
Great.
I think it does all the stuff that Spider-Man 1 does right. This also does right, but a bit more polished.
A bit more polished, yeah.
But they go, I think, too much
it's
with some
non-linear.
stuff in the third one.
The second one's open world. The first one is just point A to point, like level select levels. Whereas the second one is open world.
As they go on, they get
light,
a bit more open and a bit more sort of expansive as the time goes. Because obviously you're getting the GTAs are the main catalyst for those kind of things. So you're trying
open
to
world.
People want more of that, don't they?
Freedom, yeah. Do what you like.
Obviously, we say the swinging adapts. I'd say the best swinging in a Spider-Man game until
2018?
Until 2018 Spider-Man, I would say would be the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Did you ever play that?
Yeah, very little of it. I did more of Amazing Spider-Man 1, but I didn't finish either game. But Amazing Spider-Man 2 I do have.
Amazing Spider-Man 1, I like that. But I also...
Because that's the one with if you had it on Xbox, you had to do like left trigger for his left hand, right trigger for... Yeah, that was that one.
That was really cool. That was the best swinging thing at that
mechanic,
point.
yeah.
Instead of... And, obviously you always get the thing of like he's sticking on the... on the air or whatever.
Yeah.
But, which is like phased out, especially in the recent games. Because if you go to a not very, a sparsely populated area, you can't swing as high because there's not that many buildings around.
Not many buildings.
I'd say the Spider-Man 3 one was like the first big PS3 game. That was like the draw, but I think the PS2 version was better.
I think as a game,
they were still figuring out like
the problem is with that 360 PS3 next gen one. It's just I felt like there's so much content in it, it's so too much, and they didn't like you say.
They often made too many like things of like different versions of different systems.
Yeah, too many different versions.
Well, when it's a completely different system, makes sense, but like when you're just going up a gen,
different developers for different systems.
Which we've gone past a point where you get like 360 to Xbox One versions of stuff, and even one to Series X. Like it's all much more of a smoother thing, and it's just like how it looks on the outside.
Yeah.
But no, they were some of the best because everyone wants like superhero games. I think will always do well because everyone wants to play the Spider-Man as Batman.
Everyone wants to have the thrill of being those characters.
So with Batman,
should we
talk about the cancelled because we had Batman Begins.
We did have Batman Begins,
which was it was like Batman. It was again
a prototype like Batman Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, because obviously Batman Arkham games did a lot for the like superhero game
action stuff anyway. Yeah.
Because of the combat system that was unique at the time, that's then since been adapted into loads of things. Like it works best in the Spider-Man games, having been adapted from that, because having a spider sense as the dodge.
Yeah,
it allows it much more like freedom and sort of free flowing stuff. So that combat system was revolutionary at the time, and it's sort of almost there in parts in the Batman Begins game. Yeah, and they had the cancelled Dark Knight game that they were making, and then sort of pulled the plug on because I think late 2000s, early 2010s was when we started to see the decline of the video game movie
tie-in thing. Yeah, one that I remember briefly, but again I don't remember how far. I don't remember how far I got in it. I don't know if I did the end. Was Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar.
Oh, tell me about this one. I've never heard it.
I really don't remember the game. I just remember having it for a bit. It had achievements. I maybe played it about 3 times when the hype of the movie came out. I'm going to get it up to see what information it can tell me. It was in 3D, so that was a big deal if you had a 3D TV. Oh, go and play the game. Pop your eyeballs with it. The online servers of the game were shut down back in 2014. Wow. Gameplay. At first the player is allowed to choose the appearance of the character from a set of predefined faces. So it was a bit of character customization in terms of the human. So Sam Worthington, I guess, weren't available for the rights, or he didn't want to use his likeness. And then they were like, oh, fuck it, you can choose how, Jake, or whatever his name is in the film, looks like. Player is able to choose a side to fight for the Na'vi or for the RDA. Really? So it was kind of like an RPG where you choose, like, I don't know if you want to call it like Lord of the Rings Conquest or Star Wars Battlefront, where you choose your side and you do tasks for the faction that you pick. Mm-hmm. As a soldier, players equipped with firearms such as assault rifles, shotguns, grenade launchers, and flamethrowers. Soldiers generally has to eliminate the Na'vis, which are fast and resilient and usually charging towards the players from afar. Players and Avatar limits the player to only one Avatar-issued machine gun and various primitive weapons such as bows, crossbows, and melee weapons. Makes sense. Avatar player usually has to charge the enemies since ranged weapons are either weak, have a slow rate of fire, or have limited ammunition. Human enemies are weak, and the basic foot soldier can die after hitting once with one striker for club. So I don't know which faction it would have been in, because the Avatar people sound OP, and yet the military have all the fun weapons. So if you want fun, play as the soldiers. If you want to be OP, then play as the Na'vi. But essentially, it sounds like Lord of the Rings Conquest, where you pick your faction, you play on a map, you win, your faction wins, you win the match. From the sounds of it, you get XP points. There's a couple of mini games. Oh, and on the 360 you can drive vehicles. The Nintendo DS version is presented as a top-down adventure game akin to Legend of Zelda: Phantom Hourglass, which
Jesus
I've never
Christ.
never heard of. So yeah, I kind of maybe would dig out Avatar to see what on earth it's actually about, because that's not how I remember it at all. In my mind, it was just more of a like Spider-Man 2002. Level, get to point A, point B, do your thing, do your objectives, and level ends, mission complete. Like that's it. But Avatar definitely, like 2009 was definitely the end of the video game tie-in trend.
It was almost the end of it, because obviously you had like Amazing.
We had
Amazing
Spider-Man.
2.
Yeah, sure.
You had. Did you ever play any of the MCU ones? Did you ever play any of them?
No, I did not. Yeah, no. So you talking about Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, and Thor? They all had games, didn't they?
Yeah. So you had ones for Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I think you had 2. Yeah, I remember right. You had 2 games for him.
Even
Even the Hulk 2003. That one I grew up playing a lot.
Yeah, that was rough.
It was rough.
You had Captain America Super Soldier.
Yeah, which I didn't play.
And you had Thor God of Thunder.
Didn't play that, but I've seen snippets of it.
But they're like sort of almost like Captain America Super Soldier is very sort of Batman Arkham Light in terms of like it's trying to have a game in that sort of fighting style. But obviously you get with the shield and stuff like, so you're more open to having sort of a different kind of combo and feel than Batman. All the Cars games have them, like a lot of the animated ones do. Thor God of Thunder. I think that was because there was a Avengers one in development, and then obviously the Avengers game that we eventually got was completely different and shit.
RIP that one. Yeah, blimey.
That was terrible, because I remember them like having footage of like the glasses and stuff, and it was going to be in first person, like the Avengers game was going to be.
One I've just scrolled past and totally forgot, which I haven't played, but out of cringe I kind of want to, are the Saw games. To bring the blood and gore, the Saw games.
That seems fun. A big one for me was I played the Madagascar one.
Oh yes,
on PS2, and I also had the Incredibles one. Which was
and even Rise of the Underminer.
Rise of the Underminer, which I never played. I
You
knew
didn't
about
play
it. I think I played a demo of it once on a PS2 set up in a Toys R Us.
Yeah.
But I played the first one because that was, basically a level for each section of the film, like normally with a different member of the family, like to showcase your powers. Sorry. There's a game of The Room.
What?
I think it started off life as a Flash game.
Okay. I totally forgot.
It's a web browser one.
There's an upcoming Texas Chainsaw Massacre game coming out in... it had a beta May 25th to 29th, but it's coming out August the 18th.
Bloody hell. Because a lot of them kind of video game time ones you get like just as games on the on your phone now, don't you? You get like the apps, like the sort of like almost like Fallout style, where you got to like just collect stuff, and you get like the weird Temple Run versions of games that you'd always get.
Yeah, Temple
like
Run
the
clones,
Iron Man 3 one was just like that. It was just like keep going to get to the end of the thing.
Yeah, the Spider-Man one, which I remember being quite cool, but then again, it's just Spider Runner, and it's just
the Mad Max game is loosely based off of the 2015 one.
Yeah.
Also more its own story, so we can't really count that. The Kick-Ass games I've never.
No.
Kick-Ass 2 games to the movie.
Scarface and Godfather had games as well, randomly.
Jesus.
But I imagine they're just like the Mafia. They're just like Mafia games.
Now, here's a game that I think would work well, is the R.I.P.D. game.
Okay.
Surely, because R.I.P.D. is it's a bad movie, but it's also like, it's got promise.
Poop.
But you basically, have you seen R.I.P.D.?
Unfortunately,
Ghost in the Afterlife, and you got to hunt things.
Yeah,
I think that's a good premise. Like,
you're sure. As a game, as an original concept, definitely.
Achievements are going to be earned through in-game actions, which include references to the movie. Oh, we've got to play R.I.P.D. It's on the Xbox 360. Oh, we going to play R.I.P.D. the game?
The Transformers games, but I never checked any of them out.
I think I never checked anything out because I didn't really like the movie. Like Angry Birds is retroactively a video game movie. They had a Rio tie-in as well. Green Lantern: Rise of the Manhunters.
Oh, see, I kind of did want to get it at one point, but I didn't.
It can't be worse than the movie, surely.
Wanted Weapons of Fate.
Because also that trend sort of started that like video game movies would then be the events of that film adjacent or the events of that film happened and it was slightly after, so it was almost like a mini sequel.
Yeah.
Like especially with the Amazing Spider-Man is post
the movie,
film,
isn't it? Yeah,
because Connors is in prison, but then he like gets broken out, turns to the lizard again, and then you got to fight him. So,
as you do.
But then with that element, you get like flashbacks and stuff. Like with Quantum of Solace game was the events of Quantum of Solace, but it had
flashbacks to Casino Royale.
Because Casino Royale's game never got made.
Yeah, they got made. Yeah.
And the Skyfall stuff got folded into 007 Legends for the anniversary, and there's been nothing of Spectre and No Time to Die. I think No Time to Die would have made a good one.
That would have made a good game.
Most of the James Bonds would, I think, because there is obviously a James Bond game in development, like the Project 007 thing that was announced a couple of years ago that we still not heard anything else on.
Nothing about,
Something that I think would also be a good game, I think, would be I think the Mandalorian would make a great game. Like you become you're the bounty hunter, you get your Beskar armor, and then in the third season you just give up and you just do other shit.
You get a Boba Fett expansion pack and he takes over.
Puss in Boots, like you had a lot of the animated ones, obviously, like we said. I think the
I remember
Madagascar one was
Shrek 2 on PC. I remember that game being really
no way.
Shrek 2 on PC.
That sounds great.
Iconic stuff.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That'd be a fucking great video game because it basically is. It's like a video game brought. It's like one of them ones. Sick.
It's an arcade. It's like Super Meat Boy kin, but
it was re-released in 2021.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game complete edition.
Sharknado, the video game.
Now that sounds terrifying.
iOS. It's
John Wick Hex.
Yeah, that's like 2.5.
John Wick would be another good game.
A proper live action game.
Like you don't have to necessarily be John Wick, but it can be set in that universe. You got a couple of Planet of the Apes ones as well. The Last Frontier. That looks like a story takes place from the film. So that's war.
Nacho Libre had a game. The Jack Black movie.
Taking place between Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and War of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I've done that one. I've played that.
Is it any good?
It is essentially Telltale without the point in clicking and moving. But it's all dialogue choice. It's all dialogue.
Another essential
like subgenre. Yeah. The point and clicks.
So it's all their formula as as broken as it was addictive because everyone just kept buying them because. For me as well, easy achievements.
Yeah, easy game as well.
You're just going through, making the decisions of playing it that way. Some quick time events, but mainly it's dialogue options. So not as action packed for you people that want to actually get in and play the game.
Get in and play it, yeah. Mash people up.
It's why I think the other way around, like movies to video games, it's such a harder transition because, you can have a much better experience with Uncharted by just playing the Uncharted games instead of watching it.
The movie.
But yeah, we talked briefly about X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is, I think, based off of earlier versions of the script.
And must have been.
It is a it's a brutal game because he gets down to the skeleton and then has to re-heal.
Yeah, you see the gore.
Get down to the skeleton,
the bone,
and all the muscle and stuff. It's so good, and it's got the likenesses and the voices of Hugh Jackman and Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, I think they're all
likenesses of the characters in the films. Probably not the voices of all of them, but follows the plot of X-Men Origins Wolverine. A terrible film turned into a much better video game.
Baffling.
It's wicked when stuff like that happens because so many people are like, I won't play the game because the film's crap, but the game's so good. Ghostbusters video game was essentially Ghostbusters 3 for a long time.
Right, yeah, the sequel that never came out.
If you want more of that world, that's a great way to play it. Obviously, it has been remastered again since.
It has, but it's currently bugged, and you get stuck on the level and you can't progress it. You can't progress past it. At least I can't. I don't know if I have to necessarily start a new game and get around it, but there is a bug.
So have you got it on
fucked.
Current gen?
The remastered, it's bugged. If you've got the backwards compatible 360 version, I think you're good to go.
Transformers Dark. Like you say, in the Transformers games, they would be
yeah,
interesting because some of them maybe like playing some like games of the films you don't like would be a better way to
To experience them, yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
There was a Dawn Treader game.
Oh, there was an
but
Ultra
it was
game.
mobile. That's the.
Oh, that's
I hate the mobile ones because you just don't get.
Boo.
Despicable Me, GoldenEye, 007 Reloaded. We said about that.
Too Fast, Too Furious had a game.
I played. Sad enough, the first game I ever 1000 G'd was
5.
Forza Horizon Fast and Furious.
Okay, no, but I weren't one of my first, but I platinumed that bitch. I liked that game.
Small add-on.
Yeah, I like that bitch.
And then did it twice. Did that on the one and the 360.
Oh, see, no, I weren't that sad. Yeah, no, but I enjoyed that.
Was briefly bits from 6 because there's the plane bit.
Yeah.
But it come out around the time. It come out after 7 or
I believe
before?
around 7.
Fuck
I
knows.
think.
There's been How to Train Your Dragon ones. I bet in the same vein as other previous animated ones, they're kind of good. I think the Kick-Ass ones I'd be really interested in. What films would make good? Like, would you love to see a game of?
Oh Jesus! Okay, if I just go to my notes and just
Guardians,
pick
Jesus
a film.
Christ.
Well, they've had games, but like going back to Telltale, they've had the
yeah.
most recent Square Enix one. Luckily, ain't nothing like the fucking Avengers. It's
Coraline was
great.
a game.
What the hell was it? Jeez, that film scared me.
PlayStation 2, Wii, and Nintendo DS.
Let's go to 2023 films. So, all right, Ben Affleck film Hypnotic. It's a detective thriller thing, like Heavy Rain. He's in a world. He's a detective. His daughter died, kind of like Sean in the game. If you know the game, I won't get into detail. But he's a detective where he has to basically stop hypnotics from getting people to do things and basically ensue carnage and destruction. Yeah. But as a game, I think it would have been a really good mystery and akin to Alan Wake. Alan Wake, if they ever did make a movie of it, would be phenomenal. But I love the story and the presentation, and I'm glad they saved it for the modern day. Alan Wake 2 is coming out, I think, in October as well.
Is it?
So after all this time,
I remember seeing, on like the Bravo channel when they used to have like video game things with like the countdowns, and then like it was new game Alan Wake, and I always remember watching that one and always wanted to play it, and then it was on Game Pass.
It was on Game Pass. They remastered it, and then you had like an arcadey one like American Nightmare, and then Alan Wake 2 was in discussion for years. You had Quantum Break, and then you had another game called Control, which I think, if I remember rightly, he's a DLC character in for I don't know why. And then early this year, they've released a trailer for Alan Wake 2, and it's out this fall season, the back half of the year. So Alan Wake 2, finally, dreams come true.
Alan Wake 2, dreams come true. X-Men Origins War.
I'd like to see a game of Scream, like an original game based on maybe a mishmash of all the films, but like one original story based on Scream. Heck, Cocaine Bear.
Fucking hell, can you imagine? Got like some more of the MCU ones would be like.
They would be nice, yeah.
Because I think obviously the comic book or the genre ones like add themselves more to it, or lend themselves more to a video game.
Do an actual comic book adaptation of Infinity War, I think, for modern day.
That'd be fucking massive. 300 March to Glory on PSP.
Oh wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
2007.
I'd like to see a game of the whale. Brendan Fraser.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to see CGI Brendan Fraser masturbating. B movie the game.
Oh yeah,
you like
B-movie.
jazz?
Yeah. Forgot about
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer on PS2.
Yes. The first one was good. I weren't as big on.
Never played either of them.
I know. Well, the first one was
Golden
good.
Compass, very good. I might pick that up. Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh wow.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I think I had At World's End on DS.
Okay. I didn't have any of those games.
Because I do remember having it. I do remember PSP. There was a DS. I remember having it because you would actually sail on the bottom screen or whatever and things like that. Oh, we need to go back. We need to get back to video game adaptations. Ratatouille, Food Frenzy, Rocky Balboa, off of the 2006 game. Because PSP. Oh god, it was shit, wasn't it? Really. That was in so many game stores for
too many.
I remember seeing that, and that was the original PlayStation font, like the PS3 font, wasn't it?
Yeah. Blimey.
TMNT. That would lend itself now to a really good open world game.
Which game? Sorry. Sorry.
Like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be.
Oh my god, yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, they've had numerous depictions, a couple of them based on the shittier movies, but yeah, a modern TMNT would be good.
100%. Cars, I think I had on I had on DS.
An actual racer cars thing.
It's racer, but with a story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like an original character.
Fucking Alfred Hitchcock's Vertigo.
Yeah, I'm playing that. It's inspired by the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Original character Ed Miller. I kind of see how it's going to be like the movie, but it is drastically different. But I'm intrigued.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by Vertigo. I love Vertigo anyway, but
I'd say at the minute, if we were going to say what we want to see a video game adaptation of, John Wick.
Definitely John Wick.
Like a more open world bounty hunter Star Wars game, like a Mandalorian
type thing, yeah.
Where you can actually get your spaceship, you've actually got, because then it can be online, like GTA Online. But like, it's such an open world, like an open universe, essentially. You got to do your missions, like to get your credits for fuel, for food, for armor, to upgrade yourself, to maybe make a clan, to team up with other people, get
factions.
big ships.
Yeah, factions.
Obviously, like it goes without saying, the MCU stuff, any of them I'd fucking play.
Yeah, but even a more comic book adaptation of some Marvel properties, I just think would be good to kind of just experience.
Shang-Chi, I'd like.
Yeah.
The Eternals, I think, because that'd be sort of like
a wider scope game, cinematic journey.
I'm trying to think what else. I would have loved like TV wise as well. Like it's impossible to do a good Doctor Who game because where do you start?
Exactly.
Each game would have to be with the present Doctor, or you do it from like each sequel. But then like in the sequel intermittent gap, you'd maybe lose an incarnation if you spent 3 or 4 years doing it.
Yeah.
So maybe you start at Hartnell. And then have a sequel you do it with Trout and things like that. Because Lego Dimensions is really good.
It is really good.
And a lot of people always call for, we should have a good Doctor Who game. But it's so... where does you stand on it? Do you have, like, the regeneration thing like Lego Dimensions? Or do you have, like, the health system?
Do you have the 5 Doctors recreated?
I think you just do a fucking Destiny of the Doctors again. Just remaster it. Catch up, Slowpoke.
Jesus.
I'm surprised there's not any Fantastic Beasts games.
I am, but I'm not. I think leave it, and if the whole story gets done,
because the appeal for that franchise
it's gone downhill ever since.
Because that's why they're doing another Harry Potter again.
I suppose.
But I think that will drive more people just back to because I'm not going to really watch the series. I might check out like one episode just to see what it's like, but I don't want to give any more money to the author. Like, I'm happy with what I've got. Like, I already own the films. Like, I don't have to buy them again. Like, ideally, I'd like them in 4K, but, that's... at the moment, that's just what I'm dealing with. But, like, those games are such an experience. Maybe because of the waning interest in the Fantastic Beasts films, because they've been kind of directionless. And, obviously, you had Johnny Depp and Mads Mikkelsen. You've had controversy around that anyway. And the drop-off of... these characters are just here because that's the name of the franchise now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would say, I'm surprised because like the Narnia, the Golden Compass, those
sort of IPs have been dormant for a while, regardless if it's films,
so
TVs.
Would you say a Game of Thrones game? Because I know we had a Telltale one, but like an actual thing of like
instead of the other Conquest, whatever it was called before the Telltale one. Yeah, an actual cinematic like Quantum Break, Alan Wake type narrative Game of Thrones big expansion game, something like that. Whether you do it over a couple games, whether it's one big thing that keeps getting updated every few months. I don't know.
One thing we do love, like as much as the open world and multiplayer stuff, you can't beat a good actual single player campaign and story and stuff.
And I feel like that's where PlayStation have the advantage. Yeah,
like,
definitely have options.
But that's what like Spider-Man 2018 was so refreshing because it was like the gameplay's solid, like the story's great.
It was amazing.
It's nice to actually play a game from start to finish, and it's the story in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Instead of like, it's why I like don't really gel with the online shooters. Like I've played a few Call of Duties, but one I'm not really good enough at them, and I don't have enough time to sink into online to get good at them. And story-wise, it's just like it's paper thin, a bit like Battlefront 2. Like Battlefront 2 had like a very paper thin fucking storyline, and was just like you just want to play it online and just get killed by the same characters over and over again. But
some of us have got a life.
Yeah. What video game adaptations of movies or TV shows or something else would you guys like to see?
Shout, Breaking Bad. Something along that line.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Office.
Oh my god.
No,
The Office.
in all seriousness.
Yeah.
If we could get a good story together.
Always Sunny in
We Do in the
Philadelphia.
Shadows.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows.
I'm dabbing
Telltale game of What We Do in the Shadows.
No, like an actual like playing it, because I know you can Telltale or Lego anything, but like actually
yeah,
having
yeah. Live action.
yeah. Yeah, you got to have it like pictures your video game of a movie or TV show, but it's got to be, it's not like a Lego or a Telltale ones with ruling them out. It's like an actual proper in-depth version of it. What do you want?
Deep dive of a game. Yeah. No, let us know. It's a good topic. It is a good topic. Yeah, I'd have to go away and think about it and let you know in 3 weeks, three episodes time, when we reunite.
3 weeks in real life, but next week for you guys. So let us know, and we'll actually talk about Spider-Verse.
And across the boundaries of where we think it's going to
go.
go.
And what is your favourite video game adaptation? No, favourite video game movie tie-in? I'd say for me, nostalgia-wise, now we talked about it, I'd say Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone on PC.
I think Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban for PS2, but again, different versions, different developers.
And probably
I would say
the
PC
actual
ones.
best one in terms of quality, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Fun, it's great.
Absolutely fantastic. And do you know what? So were you. Where can they find us, Connor?
Nerd Bible Contact. If you want to send us an email, I should have said that in reverse, like the Flash. nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com, or maybe I am the reverse Flash. Or you can send us. Oh my god, I am sending. What am I doing? I am talking about because I send an electronic mail. What am I? Oh, I've done this wrong. You can find us across all the social medias: Facebook, TikTok, obviously YouTube is what you're listening to us right now, and TikTokiness, where you can send us all this stuff in short form. Pitch us your video games if you really want to. Send us some other cool suggestions, and we can react. That's a thing. Pasty Sheep reacts. Or you can send us electronic mail to nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com, and leave us your Spider-Verse theories. Let us know what you thought of it, if you've actually got out of your house and seen it, or streamed it. I mean, it's 2023. Whatever floats your boat. And again, if you want to collaborate with us on a video game, let us know, because we've saved Guardians of the Galaxy 3, so we can clearly get